Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. First, former President Biden went on The View to reassure Americans about his mental fitness. Biden on The View was like watching someone play presidential Mad Libs. I'll take a noun, 3 incoherent mumbles, and whatever that hand gesture means. We've got the clip. Then, the head of FEMA got fired after he disagreed with Kristi Noem about whether FEMA should still exist. This guy learned the hard way. Disagreeing with your boss in public is a great way to discover what Cobra Insurance is. Next, NBA legend Charles Barkley said that men shouldn't compete in women's sports, and he wasn't subtle about it either. We've got the clip. And finally, Democrats in New York are proposing a $10 million taxpayer fund that could cover Attorney General Leticia James' legal bills in her mortgage fraud case. If they wanted to use taxpayer money for something unrelated to Leticia's job, they could have at least had the decency to pretend it was for climate change. Okay, let's dive in. On The View, former President Biden was asked about his cognitive abilities while in office.
The projects, the benefits. How do you lead the world without having the best infrastructure in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best health care in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best education system in the world? How do you lead the world when you don't have that done?
Biden cleared up all the concerns about his mental acuity by showcasing his fluency in what linguistic experts are calling Bidenese, which apparently is on frequencies only dogs and ham radio operators can hear. The FEMA chief Cameron Hamilton was fired after contradicting DHS Secretary Kristi Noem about the future of FEMA. Good old FEMA, where the budget is so bloated that when hurricanes hit, the agency's paperwork causes more damage than the actual storm. During a House Appropriations Committee hearing, Representative Rosa DeLaura asked Noem whether FEMA should continue to exist. Noem responded that FEMA as it exists today should be eliminated. When pressed for a clearer answer, Hamilton stated that eliminating FEMA would not be in the best interest of the American people and that any decision about its future should be made by the President and Congress. In the private sector, contradicting your boss like that doesn't get you fired. It gets you launched into a brand new career in the food services industry. FEMA doesn't manage emergencies, they franchise them. The difference between a natural disaster and a FEMA response is that eventually the natural disaster ends. NBA legend Charles Barkley was on Outkick's Don't At Me, where he said that men should not play in women's sports.
I'm not going to get into all this stuff that's going around. Men should not play sports against women. If anybody think that, I think they're stupid. I do not, under any circumstances, under zero, think that men should play sports against women. And if anybody have a problem with that, they're going to have to get over it because I'm not going to change I just think it's wrong, period.
Who does Charles Barkley think he is to give us his opinion about sports? I mean, just because he was a professional athlete who understood sports at the highest level, why would his opinion be valid? The people most outraged by Charles Barkley's comments have never competed in sports at a high level, or at a medium level, or at any level that didn't involve a Wii remote. New Yorkers might end up funding a $10 million GoFundMe for Leticia James, whether they want to or not. Democrats in New York have proposed a new state budget which would create a $10 million fund for reimbursing state employees for legal costs if they get sued or investigated by the federal government. I wonder who they were thinking about when they wrote that. Some of you may remember that New York Attorney General Leticia James is currently under investigation for mortgage fraud. So, if approved, this new $10 million fund could cover her legal bills. And this, right after they already put a 12-foot statue of her in Times Square. New York is falling apart, and the government's proposing to fully fund a bailout for a politician's personal legal problems. It's like watching your house burn down while the fire department waters your neighbor's lawn. So, Leticia James might get a $10 million legal fund from taxpayers, which is perfect, because the one thing New Yorkers still had too much of was hope. Thanks for watching Headlines. And to all of the moms out there, I wanted to wish you happy Mother's Day. And I think the best Mother's Day gift that you could give would be to send a link to my show to 10 of your friends. Anyway, but do have a happy Mother's Day. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.